Wowzer, 1 week away from the National Sports Card Show. Today we're going to talk about 5 reasons why you might want to go or you might not want to go. Stick around.
Be ready to run now.
I like that.
What time is it? Game time. Woo.
Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. It is another day. It is another card video. How are we doing? We're getting to the end of the week and I'm starting to get a little bit of like butterflies going on. We've got the National coming up here in less than a week. I actually changed my schedule. So I'm going to be coming in on Thursday so that I can make kind of the end of that show or the end of that day, kind of like 4 o'clock time frame is what I'm thinking. And then I want to go to Ryan Card Collector 2's trade night. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I didn't really want to miss that piece. So decided to come in. I'm driving. So I'm on the East Coast. Thankfully, I don't have to worry about flights and that stuff. So I just got a hotel room Thursday and I will be there on Thursday for the trade show night. Guys, if you are new here or returning, what are you waiting for? If you hadn't hit the big red button below the subscribe button, it helps us to grow this thing. Hit the like button if you like what you hear. It helps us to get these videos out to the sports card masses and we very much appreciate it. Also, don't forget to connect with me on IG at SportsCardDad and I'm also on the old Twitter machine at times, the Sports Card Dad. All right, we are humming along. I'm about to go to my second national. It'll be the second in the row. It's going to be in Atlantic City this year, was in Chicago last year. A lot of kind of debate back and forth with a lot of different folks. Is Atlantic City worthwhile going to? A lot of West Coast people are not going to go, which makes total sense on the other side of the country. But there's a lot of East Coast people that are like, hey, you know what? I could drive into this thing. So let's dig into this. I mean, for one, what I saw in Chicago, this is literally like the Toys R Us of card shows. I've been to the Dallas Card Show, which a lot of people have started to kind of compare the two, and Dallas is a great show. The National, though, is different. It's much larger as far as the volume that's there. There's just a lot more going on. There's a lot more diversity as far as the cards go that are there as well. Now, granted, the last Dallas Card Show I went to was last May. So, you know, a lot of modern basketball, football type stuff. Maybe now it's shifted around. I've noticed even my local Raleigh show, it shifts all the time. So maybe the Dallas Card Show looks very different today than it did a year ago. But the National kind of gives you all of these things and at all different price points, which is great. You don't have to have $1 million to have a good time. And really, it's just kind of like my parents used to love going to antique shows. This is like the Mecca. It'd be like all the antiques in one place. You know, I mean, all the different types of cool things. There's so many different things, a lot of sets that you'll not see. There are certain dealers at this show that only sell at the National every year. So keep that in mind when you think about the inventory that's on, you know, Alt or eBay or PWCC, kind of the usual stuff. There are dealers at the National that don't sell on any of these platforms online whatsoever. And so that adds uniqueness. What are they going to bring? What sort of inventory is going to be there? Now, kind of an obvious reason why not to go to this show: expense of travel and just expense of life right now. Of course, we've got inflation. We've got some economic things going on, macroeconomic stuff that is not good. And so the idea of spending money on a plane, flight, on hotel, you've got meals, you've got a lot of stuff to account for. You might be a couple $1,000s in before you even buy a card or even look at a card. And for a lot of people, and I've heard this, it's like, why would I spend $1,500, $2,000 to get out to this show when I could just spend that on cards? And I think that's a fair argument. I mean, the reality is that all the online selling opportunities, all the auction sites, we're kind of spoiled in that way. We have so much abundance really at our fingertips. You can sit on your couch 24/7, 365 and
chocolate. So, chocolate. So, Marge, we need some more vanilla chocolate and strawberry ice cream.
just get up to just kind of box a front door or whatever to get your stuff. You don't have to go to a card show. So, you know, the idea that you've got to travel there, maybe you're not interested in big crowds. There's a big crowd at the National. So maybe you're not interested in being around people. Look, there's a lot of people like that. Frankly, I'm one of them, fairly introverted for the most part, but later we'll explain why this event I look at as different, than other types of events. So piggybacking off of that point, a reason to go camaraderie. You've literally got 100,000 of like-minded people in one place, which frankly is very difficult to find. You know this. It's not easy to make like-minded friends. Once you're past, high school, college, and you get into your adult life, you've got your work friends and stuff. But how many of those people collect cards? Probably not that many. And so the idea that you can get tens of thousands of like-minded people, really, even if we have our own differences in different parts of our life, you've got the like-mindedness of, hey, we're into cards. And that part is really, really cool. So the camaraderie with that, I don't know if you can really replicate that. And actually, the reason why I'm coming in on Thursday for Ryan Card Collector 2's trade night is, to me, if I had only gone to that at last year's national, I would have been totally happy. I really, really enjoyed that. It was just electric. It was really electric, all of it. And not that I made a bunch of huge trades or any of that, but just talking to people at our table, people coming up to you and, hey, do you want to trade this? Are you interested in that? There was a lot of camaraderie and it was awesome. So, that cannot really be replicated anywhere else. There's not another event that I've seen, and I've been to the Mint Collective. I've not been to Industry Summit, but that's not really a card show. So Mint Collective was kind of a combination of this with a card show, but the National is a very, very different beast. It is primarily a card show, and then you've got corporate stuff going on as well. But what you'll find is the camaraderie, the new friends, and those sorts of things. That will be a thing at the National. Next, free stuff. There's corporate sponsors all over the place. There's a lot of different, booths, tables. A lot of tables are giving away cards to kids. There's a lot of free swag, whether it be hats or t-shirts or toys or whatever, company sponsor type stuff. And they're giving away all sorts of different things. So there is a lot of free swag, free giveaway type stuff, which of course never hurts. So if you look at the price of a ticket, if you're not a VIP, I think it's $25 a ticket online or something like that, or $30 in person, and then kids under 12 are free. So the price of admission for what you're getting for that price of admission to go into kind of the Super Bowl of cards, I think it's a great deal. So the free swag, free giveaway type stuff, always interesting. And then lastly, I'll touch on networking and making business contacts. If you have a YouTube channel, you have an Instagram page, you're trying to broaden this out. You're trying to kind of meet more people that are in the industry, meet other collectors, meet other content creators. This is kind of the mecca for that. A lot of people do travel to this show, and you will bump into people that you see on YouTube or on Instagram or on Twitter or whatever it is. And you can actually have a conversation. They're accessible for the most part. From what I've seen, I think a lot of the hobby people are pretty friendly. And it also gives you the ability to talk to companies in the space. Really, you can talk to the CEO of a company. You can also just talk to their marketing director. You can talk to their software developers, whatever it is, and get to know kind of the people behind the scenes of a hobby company. Not every industry is like that. This is still kind of a cottage type industry to where, there's not a zillion different corporations that are involved. Yeah, you have a lot of startups and different things, but for the most part, you're talking about a dozen fairly large companies that really make up, a lot of this space. So it gives you the ability to kind of get in the mix, talk to those people, broaden out those relationships. And if you're not interested in the business contact part, dealer relationships, you can make friends with dealers. You can, whether it be making deals with them or just learning more about what they offer. Maybe you're into a specific type of cards, 80s baseball cards or 90s basketball cards or whatever it is. And you can find dealers that are really focused around those certain sports segments. And this is a great way to kind of build out those relationships so that maybe next year at the National, or if you're just looking for a particular card, whether you're a set collector or you're just collecting certain inserts or a certain player collector, whatever, it's all there at this particular show. So the networking, the business contacts, I don't think that can be understated. Now, I will say this event is also kind of like a wedding in the sense that everybody is there, but you're not going to get a lot of time, one-on-one time with everybody. It's just like a wedding, to where you'll see people, you'll get little snippets, and you just have to kind of be happy with that because everybody's busy. For me I'm going there, I've got certain kind of the corporate people I need to meet with, but then also I'm trying to buy cards. There's very specific cards. I made a video on this a couple of weeks ago. There's 5 cards in particular that I am looking for. Let me see if I can just name them off right now in case anyone's watching and will be there and have these cards. 1957 Topps Bart Star in a 6, graded in a 6. a Luka Doncic Silver Prism PSA 10, a Michael Jordan 86 Fleer sticker. BGS 8.5 is kind of what I was looking at with nice subgrades. I might consider no subgrades as well, depending on the card. 1980 Topps Ricky Henderson rookie in a PSA 9 probably. And last but not least, my PC guy, Drew Brees. I'm looking for a 2001 Topps Chrome, numbered out of 999, the refractor in a PSA 9. I will bring some cards for trade. I'll bring a few bucks with me and we'll see what happens. And so again, bottom line is this is just going to be a lot of fun. I can understand if it's, if your West Coast is just too far away, I get that. But there's a lot of people on the East Coast that, maybe they weren't going to go to Chicago last year, but they're within driving distance. And it's kind of like, man, if you're within driving distance of this thing, I would say give it a shot just for the experience. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Are you going to the National? Are you not going to the National? Have you ever been to a National? Just not interested at all in going to the National Sports Card Show? Let me know. As always, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.